Okay, so a lot of you are probably already familiar with our ebook services, Libby and Overdrive. They both provide the same content. They're just two different apps that are provided as a way of accessing that content. For those of you who have not tried out the ebook services or the digital audiobook services, maybe you're not familiar with them or you just think it's too complicated of a process to go through, this video is going to walk through the process of installing the Libby app. We're going to do a second video that goes through the process of installing the Overdrive app, which is very similar. And we'll show you how to check out books or place holds on books, and then the actual way that you read them or listen to the content on there. We are doing this video with an iPad mini. The process would be similar if you had a smartphone, either an Android or an Apple, or another sort of tablet like a Samsung Galaxy or something like that. So we're going to start in this case by going to the App Store. We're going to search for Libby. Both Libby and the Overdrive app are free. So here's Libby up in the corner here. We're going to tap on the Get icon. And then on Install. Just verifying the password for our account on here. Okay, the installation is finished. We could open it right from here. I just want to show you what the icon for the app looks like. It's an icon with a little person with their face buried in a book. One nice thing about Libby is that it goes through and walks you through step by step through the initial setup process. So here we go. It says, welcome. Thousands of public libraries, including the Ripon Public Library, offer ebooks and audiobooks for free in Libby. Just let me ask you a few questions and I'll guide you through or guide you to your library. First question they ask you is, do you have a library card? And of course, we're going to answer yes. Now, if you don't have a library card, I believe Winafox is working on a way to issue library cards directly through our catalog. Otherwise, you can always call the library. We do have staff answering the phones, and we can help you out with that. I'm going to assume that you're not using Libby on any other devices yet, if this is the first time that you're going through to use the service. So we can look up the library by name or location. That's the most straightforward way. So we'll tap where it says search for a library. I'm going to put in our zip code. You could search by library name as well. And our library, Winafox Ripon Public Library, came up first on here. I'll just tap on that. Libby's doing a little thinking. Okay, now it says, let's take a moment to sign you into your Wisconsin Public Library Consortium account. Where do you use your library card? So we need to choose a library or choose a location here, which is going to list the libraries that are in the Winafox system. Now this is a rather long list because the Wisconsin Public Library Consortium is a statewide service. So all of the libraries and all the library systems in Wisconsin are going to be listed on here. We're scrolling down to where it says Winafox Library System. I'm going to go with that. Now it's asking us to enter our library account details. Again, if you don't have your number, you can get this from the library. Give us a call or send us an email. And your PIN, by default, should be set to the last 4 digits of your phone number. Okay, so I've got my library card set up here. It says, okay, you're signed in. Here is your library card. We'll tap on Next there. Once you're signed in, you're going to see a screen similar to this regardless of which device you have. Wisconsin's digital library is what they call our content of ebooks and audiobooks. They usually have some sort of featured content on here, so there's a big library read where they're trying to get lots of people to read the same title. We're just going to close that for now. There are Lucky Day books, which are books that any number of people can read at the same time. Otherwise, we have a selection of books that are always available for people to read. There's never a waiting list for those. some classic titles, and then they go through different categories here: bibliotherapy, feel-good reading, need a laugh, favorites, etc., etc. At the very bottom of the screen here, I'll just point out some of these shortcuts on here. Pressing where it says Library will always take you back to this initial search page. Tapping on Shelf will show you the books that you have checked out. We don't have anything checked out right now, so there's nothing on there. We're going to go back to the Library page here. In the top right corner is a little icon where you can set preferences for the app via the library cards that you've entered. And on the top left here, where it says Search for a book, if you have a specific author or title, that's where you would type that in. So usually one of the examples I use is just to search for someone like John Grisham and see what comes up here. Often it will bring up suggested search terms as you start typing. It doesn't necessarily mean that titles by that titles by that author or that match that particular title are actually available in our system. They're just out there somewhere. So we'll do an author search here for John Grisham, see what we get. This is currently showing us everything that matches John Grisham. So there are 53 ebooks and 46 audiobooks. We can scroll through the list of titles here. Some of these are going to say place a hold, some of them are going to say borrow. If all of the virtual copies are currently checked out, you would have to place a hold on a title and go on a waiting list. If it says borrow, you're able to check out that item right away. Sorry, this iPad is pretty old by today's standards, so it's taking a little while to get things to load. So I'm going to just pick a title here that is available. Now all of these right now are coming up as ebooks, that's why it says to read a sample. If we wanted to, we could go up here at the very top where it lists the books and audiobooks. We can either tap on those shortcuts where it says books or audiobooks. It would only show us those types of results. We can also tap here where it says to refine. We can limit our search by any number of parameters such as format, language, and audience. I'm going to click on format here just to show where you can quickly go to just books or just audiobooks. We'll do a book here first for an example. And this title here, The Whistler, is currently available, so we're going to go ahead and check that out. I'm just going to tap on the title. This brings up a little page of information about it. You could have clicked or tapped directly on the word borrow on that previous screen. Just skip the step if you know you want to check it out. We're going to tap where it says borrow. It says you are borrowing The Whistler for 21 days. Sounds good to me. You do have an option to change that default checkout period, but I would recommend leaving it at the longest loan period that you have as one of the options on there. Tap the big button that says borrow. Okay, it says you have borrowed The Whistler for 21 days. There's a little progress icon on the bottom left corner there that's showing us the process as it is currently downloading this book on the device. We can open the book right now, or we can keep browsing. I'm going to keep browsing just so we can go and check out an audiobook just to show you how that process works. I'm going to back up the screen here. I'm back to refine the results and change this from books and instead go to audiobooks. There we go. And most of these have a waiting list, it looks like. There are a couple here that say borrow. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow The Reckoning as an audiobook. It says you are borrowing The Reckoning for 14 days. Sounds good. I believe 14 days is the longest you can check out an audiobook. Ebooks have a max of 21 days. Okay, I have borrowed The Reckoning for 14 days, and it's starting to download. Notice that the download progress is going much slower with the audiobook. It's a much larger file that it needs to download. You can just let that run in the background. We are going to keep browsing for the moment just to go back to this previous page. Okay, now at the bottom of the screen again you have shortcuts to the library where you search for books, and the shelf where it shows you things you have checked out. I'm tapping on shelf there to bring up the items that we currently have checked out. So you can see The Reckoning is still downloading. So in the meantime, we're going to read The Whistler. So we're going to tap on Read With, and it says, where would you like to resume reading The Whistler? We're going to use the Libby option because we're using the Libby app. You can use these apps, or you can check out books for Kindle devices as well. For the process for that is a little bit different. If you have a Kindle Fire, you have to use the older Overdrive app. If you have a black and white screen Kindle, you have to essentially check the book out on a computer, transfer it into your Amazon account, and then it'll show up on your Kindle. We will probably address that in a third video. So I'm going to tap on Libby. Give it a moment to do its thing here. And there we go. If we just tap in the middle of the screen here, it'll just let us see the text by itself. You can just swipe left and right to turn the pages. If you tap in the middle of the screen, it brings up options again. One of the nicest things about using ebooks is it gives you the ability to change the font size to whatever you like. There we go. Under that menu button here, one of the options is reading settings. Gives you the option to make the text larger or smaller. I'm going to go ahead and just blow that up a little bit. There we go, significantly larger text. And you get the idea with that. I tap on the middle of the screen and tap where it says back. Okay, we have gone back to our shelf here, and we're going to open an audiobook just so you can see what that looks like. Okay, the player is pretty straightforward. You've got a big play button in the middle, a progress bar at the bottom there. It does have some options where you can change the playback speed, so if you're in a hurry, you can increase the playback speed and it'll take less time. There's even like a sleep timer here if you want to listen to a book for a while before you go to bed.
Penguin Random House Audio presents The Reckoning by John Grisham. Read for you by Michael Beck.
There we go. And again, we'll tap in the middle of the screen there to bring up the menus and buttons and such, and go back to the shelf again. Okay, last thing we're going to go through here is placing a hold on something that is not currently available. Just going to go back to the library screen, and we've got lots of examples here. So we'll just go with this one here, Bleachers. It doesn't say borrow, it says place a hold. So we're going to tap on where it says place a hold. It says you are placing a hold on Bleachers. It's got my library card information on there. It gives you kind of an estimate of how long it's going to take for that title to become available. So in this case it says if you place a hold on this title, it should be ready for you to borrow in about 6 weeks. It tells you how many copies are in the system, how many people are waiting in the entire state on that title, how many people are waiting per copy, that sort of thing. We tap on where it says place hold. So it says you are placing a hold on Bleachers. You have placed a hold on Bleachers. And that's it. When the title becomes available, I believe in Libby it automatically gets checked out to your account. You'll get a notice in the app that there's a title available for you. And then you would just go through the download and reading process that we went through with the titles that were currently available. Just back out to the main screen here and go back to the start page, hitting the library button there. I'm just going to show you what's under preferences here. So if you're only looking for audiobooks or only looking for ebooks, you have some default options you can set here. Generally, we just kind of leave those alone. Other than that, once again, you can search with the search bar at the top there. You can also tap on Explore over here, and then they break it down into different guided categories. So here they've got books for kids, teens, romance, mystery, thriller, what's newer, what's popular, what's available. And they also have a subject heading because there's not really a good way to search by subject, unfortunately. It's mostly just authors and titles. But they do break it down by quite a few different subject categories here for you as well. So that's a quick look at the Libby app. We'll go through the Overdrive app in a moment in a future video. And then we'll also cover the differences with checking out books for Kindles with a black and white screen. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to give the library a call or email us. You can email us at reference@ripponlibrary.org, and we'll try to help you through the process as best you can, or as best we can. Thanks.